What is up, geeks and geekettes? It's another episode of the Countdown City Geekcast. My name is Steady. Joining me on this episode is the one and only Jericho.
What's up, y'all? Steady, explain to me at what part of that countdown was in any way Egyptian.
I meant like the sphere, and it had forget about it.
It was
This is
white
going
and it
to,
had a sphere. Okay.
that's what it was. Listen, this is going to be a fantastic show. We have a lot to
Yeah.
talk about. There's been so many great shows. If you've been following our discussion, we're talking Moon Knight, we're talking Young Justice.
Hmm.
I'm talking Halo. Jericho's decided he's going to wait till the end of the whole damn thing.
Yep.
And we're also going to talk about a couple of other things that are happening. We have some events. We have some events coming up, so can't wait to announce the event, the next one that's about to drop. And then I'm also going to talk about a little screening I saw last week. Very excited to talk about that. So we'll start there. We'll
There you go.
talk about where I was last week. Luckily enough, invited to what I'm going to call the Nick Cagiest of movies.
Sounds
The
about
Nick,
right.
the Nick Cagiest of Cage movies. Of course, I'm talking about the unbearable weight of massive talent. Now, if anybody's watching, it's going to be a very short, non-spoiler review, and I'm not going to give any details unless you want. Ask me something, go for it. But I just want to say that I went in with some very solid, wild Nick Cage expectations, and boy, did they surpass every single one of them. I am happily saying that it surpassed all of my wildest Nick Cageist of expectations. If you
Oh man.
watching happen to be a fan of the very charismatic, very unusual and unique Nicolas Cage, this is like the what is it? This is like the ode to Nick Cage.
Yeah.
This is the love letter to his career, and you're going to love this from start to finish. Um, First off, I was already sort of all in because not only did it have Nick Cage, but it had one of my favorite actors right now, Pedro Pascal, who I rave about every time we get a chance to review one of his projects. Like, he was easily the best part of Wonder Woman 84. Easily. And that's not saying his character was great. His performance
Yeah.
took that character as far as he possibly could. And that's all I'll say about that movie. But Pedro Pascal, I think him and Oscar Isaac, I've said this before, are
Mhm.
like the my two favorite guys to watch right now. Doesn't matter if the script is bad or the script is great, they're gonna give you 150%
Mhm.
every single time. They're gonna take a role further than you thought possible. And this movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, it's so many different things all rolled up into one. It
I just
and
I just love that title.
it's amazing. It's
It's an amazing
amazing.
title, yeah.
It's so many things wrapped up into one. What do I mean by that? Um, it takes so many twists and turns. It can go from serious to silly in a snap of a finger. It can go from emotional to absurd in a blink of an eye. And you want to stay on the roller coaster even after the movie ends. You're like, this was insane what I just witnessed. And yet you want more of it. That's how good it is. I'm not telling you it's the greatest movie of all time. I'm not
Yeah.
telling you it's the greatest movie of 2022. Arguably the best movie of 2022 in the sense that it entertained me from start to finish. And you're not going to get like $100 million production value from everything. It's an indie film with some very big ambitions, and it succeeds from start to finish. That's all I'll say about that. Do you have any questions? I don't want to, no spoilers, but any questions about it from you?
No, man. I mean, I remember seeing the trailer. I think you and I kind of talked about it at one point. It just looked amazing. Like, and I've been keeping up with some of the interviews that Nick Cage has done, and I mean, he went in knowing. Not, I don't want to say it's like a joke movie, but it's basically like all these all these skits that people have made fun of him, all these memes and everything. Sort of like he's like, you know what? Let's write a movie, include all my characters or most of my characters that I've done, and I'm just gonna act the shit out of them. And I'm gonna make a movie about it. And like that's what it seems like. That's what it sounds like you're saying too, you know?
Yeah, I
I
absolutely. It's
I
it's
love
a
that. Like,
it's a love letter to the career of Nicolas Cage, and yet it's not just a throwaway. It's not
yeah.
like he just, said, "I'm gonna play so and so," or "We're gonna reference these movies," because there's references in the trailer. You can see the trailer, and they reference like certain items from the set, certain
Mhm.
like props from his previous roles. So it's not like it's just nostalgia driven, right? But he takes everything, every scene, he takes as seriously as you expect an actor of the caliber of Nicolas Cage to take
Yeah.
it,
I just
and
love
it's
him, man. Like
incredible.
he's always been, I think, a great actor, and yeah, it seems like he's probably done more movies than anyone, but I don't know, man. Like he's whether it's a bad movie or not, just like you said with Pedro Pascal and I was gonna say Isaac Hayes, wow, Oscar Isaac. It just seems like he's gonna do the best that Nick Cage can do. I'll say it that way. Okay,
Oh yeah,
whether you agree that it was an amazing performance or not, this is what he this is where he wanted to take it, and I mean, it just makes me like his movies even more.
yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
incredible. It's hilarious.
I need to check it out.
It's emotional at times. Um,
There's
Lily Sheen. This is her first performance in a movie. She plays the daughter of Nick Cage in this movie. Lily
okay.
Sheen, who is the real life daughter of Kate Beckinsale,
Oh wow. Okay.
friend of mine,
Interesting.
Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah. Right.
I get the photo of us is right behind my hat. You see that?
Oh yeah, I see that way in the
There you
back.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we
There's a
took
candid
that. We
photo,
were just
right?
we were hanging out. It was after a meal. We were just
Mhm.
hanging out. So that was the photo we took. I
And
might have
somebody
gave her
like,
some money for the
yeah,
food slash photo
for the
op, but
photo.
whatever. It's all good.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's everything that I'll say about the unbearable weight of massive talent.
Dope.
Go check it out. I hope you get a chance to see it, whether it's in theaters or if you wait for it to come on demand. But it's just entertaining. It's a very entertaining movie, and look, if you're gonna watch it, you have to go with the mindset of this is like how absurd potentially Nick Cage's real life could be.
Mhm.
You know,
I
like
feel like
he's sort
his
of
his
a
life is a movie that he has been playing in his head for years. You know what I
absolutely.
mean? Yeah, like I don't know how to explain it. That's
The
awesome.
most interesting man in the world commercials?
Yeah.
Those are all inspired by the real life of Nick Cage.
There you go.
Fact. If you didn't know
Yeah.
that, I made it up, but now you know.
I
And
love
now
that. That's great.
this movie is what potentially how absurd and interesting Nick Cage's real life could be, and that's what I'll say about that. No
Yeah.
spoilers. Please check it out. Cage is great. Pedro Pascal is wonderful as he always is. It's at times a buddy cop film. At times it feels like I don't even know what to say, a stoner movie at times. It feels like it's just slapstick comedy, like it's Dumb and
Yeah.
Dumber. It's so many different things at once, and yet there's moments where it pulls on your heartstrings. It's about a desperation of a father at times.
Hmm.
It's about an actor in the sort of the waning years of his career trying to still be relevant. I mean, it there's so many meta
Wow.
aspects
Okay.
of this movie, and yet when it wants to be funny, it's funny. When it wants to be comical, when it wants to be absurd, when it wants to just be zany, it goes for it, and you appreciate it because we're here to be entertained. And what's more entertaining
Right.
than the real life of Nicolas Cage, right?
Right. Exactly.
So, all that to say, this is a documentary. This is all true events that happened in Nick Cage's life. Blah blah blah. I'm just kidding. It's still fantastic though. Go check it
Yeah.
out. All right. Did you catch today's episode of Moon Knight?
I did. Yes.
Boom,
Holy
ladies and
crap.
gentlemen. We're gonna jump into Moon Knight.
Speaking
And
of Oscar Isaac.
speaking of Oscar Isaac, the great Oscar Isaac, who listen, he needs an Emmy for this role. Seriously,
Oh, dude, for real.
he deserves a freaking Emmy for playing two characters going absolutely insane simultaneously throughout this TV series. Uh,
Possibly a third after today's episode.
oh yeah,
We'll
definitely.
bring that up. I didn't notice. Well, but yeah, we'll talk about it.
We'll bring that up.
Yeah.
So I will talk about episode 4. I could go through everything. Now we'll just talk about 4 a little. No,
Yeah.
this we wanted to talk about 4 last week, but we all had things that going on, so we'll talk about 4 and 5 back to back.
Hmm.
So if you have seen episode 4 and episode 5, this is for you. If not, pause this video and then come check this out. But here we go. I'm gonna talk about episode 4 first. Layla and Stephen search the tomb of Amit before Harrow can resurrect her. Mark and Stephen no longer have the powers of Khonshu as he was last turned to stone, and before they can escape the tomb with the statue of Amit, Harrow arrives and shoots Mark. Mark suddenly wakes up in a mental hospital with references to his life, including a doctor that looks a lot like Harrow. To make things even stranger, he runs into Steven, the two finally meeting face to face in what appears to be the afterworld. A lot of
Dun dun
shows
dun.
we're talking about are dealing with like the death and afterlife right now. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Episode 4 ends when a walking hippo enters a facility, sending them into shock, which is fantastic.
That was a
Oh,
talking hippo. Yeah, I would be freaked out too.
hey, Victor Garcia. He says, "What's up in the chat?" Victor, nice to see you again, man. Are you watching Moon Knight? Let us know. Jericho, your thoughts
Yeah.
so far on episode 4. What did you take away from it? I know I skipped over a bunch of stuff. There's a lot of
Oh.
drama in between. There's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
mummies performing sacrifices
I
on
mean,
some
nothing.
people.
It's you've seen it all, right? I mean, it's been in every show we watch. No, man,
Pretty
it
much.
was yeah, I mean, yeah, like you bring that up, like a mummy, doing a sacrifice, another mummy chasing is her name Layla or Lila?
Layla,
Layla,
yeah.
right? Layla
Yeah.
chasing her, and I mean, she's trying to get away, and she was kind of in that scene, she seemed a little calm compared to how I would imagine most people would react. Like she was just like, okay, I mean,
Right?
she knew to run away, but she was just like, okay, I need to get out of here. I don't know. Um, yeah, man, and Harrow's just being the dick that he is, really digging into her and really um, just pulling at the strings, like trying to turn everyone against Mark and Steven um and poor Mark at the end, and well, I guess Mark and Steven kind of get shot and trying to save. They got finally the artifact that they needed, and they get shot.
Dude.
And it's like, oh my gosh! But the whole transition between the two, and I don't know, like I feel like they're kind of finally working a little bit better together. Like kind of trusting each other more and
Yeah.
allowing each other to kind of switch out. But Steven, I have to say, he's become more and more. a little more heroic, a little more brave at some points, especially in that scene where the mummy doing the sacrifice, taking all that stuff out. I would have been freaking out. Like the Steven that we've seen from episode one till now, like if it was me, I would have been freaking out. He was a little bit more calm, a little more brave.
I mean, he has been seeing things for like over the past week now. That's
Yeah,
he can't explain the supernatural, the
right.
mythos of the Egyptian gods, the monsters that they're sending at them. He's kind of faced his fears a little bit from time to time,
Hmm.
using the Moon Knight powers to kind
Yeah.
of try and fight back. So he's coming into his own. Victor's in the chat. I met Victor at the Ghostbusters premiere. His daughter
Oh,
wearing
nice.
an incredible Ghostbusters flight suit, and me and my buddy. Actually, she was wearing a T-shirt, I believe. Me and my buddy Brian, Brian Ortiz, who's one of the founding members of the Ghostbusters chapter, took an amazing photo with Victor's daughter, and she just eyes, face all lit up from taking photos with us. She had a great time. She loved the
That's
movie. We
awesome.
loved the movie. Yeah, it's fantastic. Victor, if you haven't been um, checking out our Facebook page, we've been posting information for the superhero car show and Comic Con, which is August 4th through 7th at the Freeman Coliseum. Ernie Hudson's going to be back. If you want to take the daughter, go check out Ernie Hudson. He's going to be there, as well as Dan Aykroyd. I don't know how much Dan's going to do, but we do know he's going to be performing with his Blues Brothers band
Yes.
alongside Jim Belushi. So if
Hmm.
you're still watching,
That's
brother,
awesome.
go check out our Facebook page. Absolutely. He says, "Oh, wow, cool."
I saw that.
Go check out our Facebook page, or you could also go to Celebrity Fan Fest on Facebook, and tickets are still on sale. Ooh, does that end tonight? It either
Oh,
ends
I don't
tonight or
know.
tomorrow. I think the discount
Probably
ends
tomorrow.
tomorrow, but don't quote me on that. Yeah, so definitely check it out. See if you guys are up for going. Ernie's the best. He is the best to meet in person. He's the nicest, most humblest guy I think I've met at a con. Probably next to Stanley, of course, but they're right up there. It's like them two, and then everybody else. Check
That's
that out.
awesome.
Okay,
Good to have you here, Victor.
good to have you, man. Appreciate that. And let us know what you think about Moon Knight. He's checking out Moon Knight. He says it's very cool. Let us know what you think about the episodes. What it's cool thing I found out, Moon Knight, the action figure that Mark is holding, is actually a repainted Skeletor action figure
Oh, nice. Okay.
from Masters of the Universe. So like that was pretty awesome. That was pretty awesome. Um yeah, this episode was great, and I love horror elements in any of the content that I watch. So when you start adding sort of these undead Egyptian type, I don't know what they are, mummies,
Th-
or
Mummies,
yeah,
zombies. Yeah.
zombies, whatever they're. I liked it. I dug it, especially the part
Oh, yeah.
where Layla gets like grabbed in like the shadows, and then she's like trying to kind of escape out, and they just drag her back. Like, oh my god, oh my
Yeah.
god! Loving all of it. Loving all of it. Fantastic stuff. More horror stuff in Marvel, please. Marvel properties. Doctor Strange 2, gonna get a lot of
Hmm.
it, I think. So looking forward to that, definitely. But yeah, very exciting episode and shocking. Did not expect to see what happened at
Oh,
the
yeah.
end. But as soon as sort of Mark wakes up and the audience is sort of debating on whether or not like everything that we've been watching is either made up in his mind, or if it was any of it was real at all. I immediately thought, because we're watching Young Justice and we watched Titans last year, that this is sort of a plane between life and death, sort
Hmm.
of limbo, or the the plane they have to pass through. So I was like immediately like, I know where we're at. I've seen this movie before. And yeah, that's where I'm kind of staying with that. And then you see the hippo at the end, and you're like, yeah, this isn't real. He's
Right.
not waking up in a mental hospital. I mean, they don't look like that anyways, but still, love it. Love the story. Love the episode. It's fantastic. Yeah, pretty awesome.
For sure. Yeah, I hate, and I even told y'all in the group chat earlier, like after today's episode, after episode 5, I'm disappointed that it's only one more to go. Like oh man, like I wish it was a full series at this point, you know? Like yeah, it was a little slow in my opinion. Maybe the first episode I wasn't too sold on it, but by second episode I was ready. I was on board, and I don't know, man. I really wish there was a lot more to it. I mean, we'll see how the last episode is going to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Two more episodes, right? Oh, we're gonna talk about 5, and then yeah, we still got the finale coming
Yeah.
up pretty soon. Um, you know what was also cool was that they discovered this was the tomb of Alexander the Great, which
Yeah.
in real life they've actually never found. I don't think anybody knows where his tomb is.
Right.
So just kind of throwing in this lore that he was sort of the avatar for Amit, that's pretty incredible.
It is.
That's
Yeah.
like yeah, that's a wonderful sort of in, incorporating sort of that lore and that the legend of Alexander the Great
Yeah.
into the series. I like that a lot. It was pretty cool.
It is cool when they do stuff like that, and I think especially for like Steven's character, and because you know Steven is just a gift shop worker at a museum,
Yeah.
and but he you can tell based off of everything he's ever talked about, like he knows his stuff. You know, like he's basically an expert. And now, come episode 4, he is the first one to set eyes on on this tomb, and I mean, it's just incredible. I think like that's phenomenal. That imagine. I mean, he was excited and everything, and then for him to have to do the whole reach down the throat, get some things out, like he just went from admiring where he was to, oh crap, I got to work. you know, I think it's just so cool. I think it's really really cool to that they do stuff like that. But yeah, I hope they do that more and maybe some other shows as well.
Absolutely. Cool. Let's talk about episode 5, shall we?
Yeah.
It turns out the mental hospital was the Putnam Medical Facility. That was the name that sort of Hera was mentioning. And it was all in fact just this plane between life and death, the afterlife and life itself. Mark and Steven, their souls are needing to pass through the underworld, but only if their hearts balance the scales. To balance them, they must relive their past. Steven has one memory where he and his brother travel to a cave during a rainstorm, and Mark's brother drowns in the cave accidentally. As he grew older, his mother making him feel guilty about the accident. Later on, as an adult, after going AWOL in the military, Mark really did become a mercenary and murdered Layla's father during a mission. Just before he bled to death during this mission, he crawled into a tomb and was saved by none other than Khonshu. The hippo we talked about in the previous episode, turns out her name is Taweret. Taweret.
Mhm.
And she agrees to help them get their life back because Hera was sending too many souls to the underworld before their time. The plot twist of episode 5, titled The Asylum. To escape his mother's, I'm going to say, depression and abuse, Mark made up a new personality, Steven.
Mhm.
Near the end of their journey, they are forced to fight to save their souls, and during the scuffle, Steven sacrifices himself to save Mark and turns to stone as he tries to make his escape on the sands of the underworld. And the episode ends there. Very sad, very sad.
It is, yeah.
Um, Another fantastic episode and another incredible performance by Oscar Isaac, who again, this is probably up there with WandaVision.
Mhm.
What's her name? Olsen.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Elizabeth Olsen.
Mhm.
Like I thought that was up until then the best performance in any Marvel project by far.
Oh, yeah.
And she was asked to do so much. She had to have so much range throughout each episode, and there were some extremely emotional moments in that one. This is like up there. I'm not gonna say it's better. I'm gonna say it's right up there. Whether
Oh,
it's
yeah.
better, the same, or a little bit lower, it's still right up there. Oscar Isaac is fantastic. I love everything he's doing. Everything he's doing is 150% of what he's being asked to do. He just gives both of these characters so much of everything. I was gonna say so much life, but it's just so much of everything, and it's the back and forth, the banter between them, and he's playing off himself. He doesn't get to act with another person,
Right.
obviously, so he's having to do this almost to a blank sheet of paper or just a stand-in, but you're not able to, you're not able to actually build your performance off somebody else
Right.
in this scenario. He's having to do it by himself, recorded, separately, and do it all at once. It's incredibly difficult to sort of act on your own, pretending somebody's there, but he's pulling it off
Right.
incredibly. And again, so much emotion put into so many scenes, and it's a very dark story. It's a great twist. We're led to believe up to this point that Steven has always been sort of the person who with the entire backstory, and
Mhm.
Mark is sort of the infiltrator of this body and using Steven to do Khonshu's bidding.
Mhm.
Turns out, complete reverse. Steven's never existed, only as a mere fabrication of Mark's trauma. And yeah, that's where we're at. Pretty
It's
crazy. What are
trippy,
your
man.
thoughts about
Yeah,
episode 5?
that was a roller coaster of an episode, man. I mean, yeah, everything you just talked about, like, I I I had a feeling, well, I didn't wanna say I had a feeling that Steven wasn't the main one, but the way they led us to believe that was, of course, introducing him as we meet him at the beginning of episode 1 and all that, so, um, but yeah, I mean, it's the fact that how he came about. Because like you said, from all the physical or not physical, but like emotional abuse that
Yeah,
his mom gave him, which I think at that time, what was it, like maybe about a year or two roughly since
yeah,
the brother's passing, and he had to come up with, cope with it somehow. Um, and I think the fact that Mark knew this, he was trying to protect Steven from finding out. That in itself was emotional too, because I mean, you just see like he knows what who Steven is, he knows what he is, and he didn't want Steven to find out, and but they couldn't continue on. The scales couldn't balance until they,
right.
you know, outed everything and faced everything. So, I don't know, man. Like it was, yeah, like you said, great performance. I can't imagine. I've seen in other movies too and shows, but like to be able to go in there and be able to actually differentiate, really see the difference between characters, and you're not just like, this is me and then oh my other character is just a little bit different. Like no, like it's a complete different person, basically. Um, so I think it's really really cool, and that, yeah, the whole hospital, now that we know it's not the actual asylum. um I don't know, man. Like, let's see where episode 6 takes us, and um, this show is crazy. It's really crazy. I love it.
The o- the only hope Mark has now is for Khonshu to be released,
Mhm.
and he's not able to release him, we don't think. So
Right,
Layla will have to enter the Temple of the Gods and release Khonshu from the statue of which he's imprisoned.
right.
How does she get the attention of the gods? Are they willing to, now that Harrow is apparently releasing chaos on the world. Are they willing to listen now? Because they weren't
Yeah.
before. So, is that what's going to happen? That's going to be interesting to see if the gods are willing to change their minds. Gods don't usually do that.
Not so easily, yeah.
Just saying.
I don't know why,
Yeah.
they're not easily persuaded. Yeah,
Gosh,
I don't know how they're gonna do that. That's what's gonna be so crazy to see how they're gonna do that. How is Harrow, is he I'm sure he's still gonna be there somehow trying to convince them, like, no, she's crazy too, or she's a follower of Mark, or Khonshu or whatever, Um, I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to it, to episode
yeah.
6, and I was gonna bring up, so when we were talking about maybe a third person, so
Yes.
I'm not gonna claim to be a Moon Knight expert or anything like that. I've never even read his comics. I've just seen him in the past and stuff. But so I noticed something, and I didn't think really much of it. But so when they're in Doctor Harrow's office,
Right.
and at one point, Mark wakes up, and Harrow's talking to him, and he says something like, you're not a doctor, or you're not a real doctor, or whatever. At that point, that's a scene where I was like, this is different. Why does he look different? Why does he sound a little different? His eyes were like, well, not bloodshot, but they were like dilated,
Right.
and his he had sort of a different accent, or different not dialect, but different accent almost, compared to Mark. And when I went online, other people, I happened to bring up, some videos, and first one was saying supposedly they think that it was the other was it Jake something, or Jack
Yeah.
Lockley or whatever. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, so I noticed it. I wasn't claiming like, oh, that's Jake or whatever, but I'm like, this person's different compared to Mark and Steven. Like the way he reacted and everything, the way he was talking. Because why is he going to continue to bring up, you're not a real doctor, if at this point, or by that point in the episode, he kind of accepted maybe he is in the asylum, maybe this is a real doctor. And then now they show this scene, and he's like, you're not a real doctor, and all this stuff. And I'm like, hey, that's somebody else right there. So I don't know. Did you kind of feel that way, or did you see that or anything?
There was a moment where I thought like, that's different. But there was so much else going on. I just
Yeah.
kind of forgot about it. But I mean, we're supposed to have either a third personality or just a third individual in this body of marks, because
Right.
we've had moments where neither him or Steven can recollect what
Yeah.
was happening or what they were doing. So yeah, this plot twist of a supposed third person inhabiting this vessel
Yeah.
is bound to happen. I always thought maybe the plot twist would be that Khonshu is is taking over at times,
Yeah.
and he's not really supposed to, right? These are supposed to be vessels for the gods.
Right.
They're not supposed to have direct contact with the human race or the world. It's all just supposed to be at a distance. They
Yeah.
all made this pact or this promise, whatever they did.
Yeah.
So I was kind of leaning towards, because I've heard about the other one, Lockley you were referring to, but I always just thought that maybe Khonshu is overstepping his power,
hmm
you
And it
know?
seems like it, yeah, because especially if we've seen the way he is, and um, and especially like in this episode, he of course he's locked up and everything, so we haven't seen that kind of interference. We haven't seen the whole blacking out with neither one of them able to
Right.
recollect. So I mean, I could definitely go with that. If he's willing to break the rules that much, then who's to say, yeah, that it's not him doing it? Um, I don't care either way. Like I'm not going to be that guy who's like, oh no, in the comics it's a third person. Um,
Marvel and
it's
source
Marvel. Yeah,
material, yeah, listen, DC can't, make any variations from anything, but Marvel, they do whatever they want and everybody loves it. So
yeah,
it's just the way it is. I don't have any more evidence to tell you why it might be Khonshu overstepping his power,
yeah.
overstepping his responsibility. I don't know what else you call it, breaking the rules. I don't have any other evidence other than in this episode when Mark creates the Steven personality, his eyes roll back as if he has some powers already,
Right.
and yet this shouldn't be a thing yet.
Well,
He's not met Khonshu before.
because I saw that, and I'm curious if that's just more of a visual for us to see that now he's a different person. You know, it's a different identity. Um,
But the
but
accent would have been enough. The
well,
English
yes,
accent would have been
yeah,
enough.
yeah, but at the
And
same time, they'll say that again. I didn't hear that.
that was it. I was just gonna say the English accent would have been enough, and the eyes when they rolled back, it wasn't just like eyes rolling back. It was like kind of
Like
brightly
straight up.
glowing
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah,
eyes,
they did glow.
and
So maybe Conchu's always been a part of him somehow
I'd
or
say he
something.
interfered. Ooh, what if
Yeah.
Khonshu actually killed his brother?
Oh, okay. When they went in the cave,
What was his brother's name? Because the mother called him Roro, but I
Roro.
feel like
Yeah.
that was a nickname.
I don't know. I'm
Did
gonna
they
look it
ever
up
say his
because
real name?
I'm almost positive they did. I'm gonna look it up because yeah, I remember thinking that too. Like it was a little weird. Um, but yeah, I mean,
Randall.
Ma- Randall.
Yeah, it was Randall.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't know how you get Roro from Randall, but only the mom would know.
Hey, the mom
Um,
was suffering. What are you making fun of the mom for? What
I'm
are you
not
giving her a
making
hard
fun
time
of
for?
her.
Jesus,
But
man.
yeah, so maybe
Have a
oh
heart.
man, now that shut up. Now that you mention it, maybe Khonshu was somehow in the cave or something, like he was somehow dormant in there. And then when the Mark actually went to the tomb, it was sort
It
of
it
like, "Hey man, remember me?"
it could be a number of things. I'm just trying to say that, Khonshu hasn't been the most open person or entity throughout the series.
Yeah,
For young Mark's eyes to roll back and he almost transform into Steven the way he did just leads me to believe that there is more to this story.
right.
Um, I mean, I'm not going to be claim to be an expert on trauma and multiple personality disorder. It just feels like it was too much of an extreme change
Yeah,
in a very in a blink of an eye for it to be a very natural progression for a child to do. He maybe had help, somehow with the influence of Khonshu, really being able to sort of switch off Mark
right.
and turn into Steven. But if Khonshu has something to do with the accident in order to make this sort of what do you want to call it? In order to make this row of events happen, there forward, him needing Khonshu in a way
Yeah,
to suppress this trauma and abuse from the mother, then yeah, I could totally see that. And
that could also mean
how will Mark react if he ever finds
yeah.
this out?
I was gonna say that could also mean, yeah, that all these events have led up to Khonshu trying to prevent, I guess, Harrow from taking over. Sort of like how Harrow uses the powers to determine your fate.
Yeah,
Maybe Khonshu has similar power. Well, he does have similar powers, but it's one of those things where, or somebody told him maybe like this needs to happen in order to, prevent Armageddon in the future or something. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. There's so much that we have no idea how it's going to happen or
he
what the reason
lost.
is.
Khonshu at one point loses Harrow, and Harrow betrays him, right?
Hmm.
And Khonshu at some point realizes like I'm gonna need someone more loyal.
Right.
What better, how better to build someone who's more loyal than to sort of create mold
Pray.
from
Yeah.
a child? Very Halo-esque. The way that series is going. No spoilers for you because you haven't seen it, but clearly you know that the Spartan program started with children.
Right.
and there's a lot more that goes on with that show. So I'll save that for later.
Okay.
But yeah, um, maybe Khonshu just needed to have someone that's more loyal to him, so that this wouldn't happen again. Someone betraying him, and
Yeah.
so he's just started influencing this child at an early age, and maybe we'll find this out later on. Maybe we don't.
Who
But,
knows? We could be completely
the
wrong, and it's something
which has
plain
happened
and simple.
before.
Yeah.
Awesome. We wanna hear from you if you're watching this stream right now, or if you're listening to this podcast, afterwards. Let us know what you thought about episode 5 titled "The Asylum." What were your favorite moments? How bloody good is Oscar Isaac? Let us know in the chat. That's more like Scottish, Irish, maybe?
It's
I
like
can't I can't do a great English
your
accent by
accent is
itself.
like going into, yeah, I can't either. You know, there
It's
was
just
some
horrible.
I read there were some dialect coaches who were impressed with Oscar Isaac's like damn near perfect English accent, which I'm like, that's
It's so
very
good.
cool. Yeah.
It's so good and it's so subtle. That's why it's so good, because it's not this overly exaggerated accent. It's so subtle of an
Yeah.
accent, the way he's doing it. And a lot of times he's just kind of mumbling nonsense.
Mhm.
Not nonsense, but he's just kind of mumbling like vowels or syllables at times, because he can't really get out what he's saying. And just those moments, like, that's the character and that's the
Mhm.
personality just right there. He's so unsure of himself a lot of times, and not confident in most of the series so far. It's a wonderfully written character that Oscar just kills
Mhm.
completely. He just absolutely nails it. Give the man an Emmy. Give him an Emmy. We're calling it here. Oscar Isaac, Emmy winner, Moon Knight.
Yep. Boom. Done.
Boom. We've already voted. No need to vote. No need to vote. Yeah, pretty awesome. Let's talk Young Justice, man. You ready?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I hope you're ready, because I'm sure you are loving all this stuff. We didn't get to talk to you last week about Young Justice in the start of Arc 5, but this is like your arc. Like, this is like, I'm sure you're just swimming in all of this wonderful epicness.
That's right.
Hey,
Yeah.
Matt's in the chat. Matt's in the chat says,
Heyo.
Oscar with the Emmy. That's interesting. Yes, it's gonna happen. Book it, mark it down. Young Justice Phantoms. This is our episode 19 review, and this is gonna be Jericho's favorite arc of the season. I'm calling it now. There's no other way that this is not gonna be his favorite arc. All right, episode 19. We start with the return of Razor. Razor returns from the Green Lantern animated series in search of his Red Lantern ring, which is being held by Metron. He trades for the red ring by trading his blue ring, but
No,
during a
opposite.
he trades
He
he
trades his
trades
red
for the
ring
red ring for the
for the
blue
blue
ring that
ring.
he
Yeah.
owns, right? For the blue ring, but after a fight with Metron, the blue ring is returned to him, and he wields both powers and uses them to defeat Metron. Have you ever seen anything remotely close to
No,
this before?
not at all. I didn't even think that was possible.
I've seen a,
Like
a Batman story about it, but never like this. Never
that's
like
I've
this.
seen, yeah. Doesn't he wield like all of them or something?
We'll talk about it later. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's Batman. No, that yeah.
Also in the episode, General Zod. Listen, we're gonna get into the lore of this season now. Everything we've been building up to has an origin story.
Yeah.
This is that origin story. General Zod was released from the Phantom Zone by the United Planets at one point. This was after the destruction of Krypton, and the Phantom Zone had thousands of inmates that needed to be released because they had already been sitting there for like 1,000 years. The only right thing to do was like, you kind of served your term, so we'll let you out now.
A
Sorry we
little
forgot
longer
about
than
you.
expected. Yeah.
We missed it
Oops.
by a few millennia. Yeah. The Legion imprisoned Zod after he planned to lead a rebellion against the United Planets. His son, who was too young to be in prison at the time, Lord Zod, was left and later decided to take his revenge on the Legion. He traveled back in time and killed young Connor Kent, which prevented the Legion from ever forming. Their origins of the Legion were inspired by the superhero Superboy. Now that he wasn't
Right.
around, the Legion never formed. Lars's next plan is to break into Metron's hidden realm and steal the last device that will free his parents from the Phantom Zone and take over the galaxy. Boom. And the Legion, I forgot to write this last part. The Legion's last hope lie now with Impulse, who is a new Kid Flash, who's helping them rebuild a time machine which they can take back and stop Lore from ever changing the timeline. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Saw none of this.
Not at all.
What's crazy was I remember Arc 1 when the bomb went off. I was thinking there's not a chance that this bomb was meant for Connor. This must have been meant for Superman. This must have been meant for Kal-El. This must have been meant for
Yeah.
Clark. There's no chance. It's like a 0.1% chance that this bomb that went off and Connor was killed. There's no chance it was meant for him. Holy crap! Was I
Mhm.
completely? I mean, the exact opposite. They wrote in the story. Greg Wiseman, Brandon Vietti, the showrunners. They put in the story where Connor is absolutely the target, and this whole season, starting with his death, has been about Superboy. How crazy is
Mhm.
that, man? Your
It
thoughts
is.
about episode 19?
It is crazy. I mean, to think I don't know if they had this kind of thought of at that time when, like, season 1, season 2 was out, but, I mean, yeah, to go back all the way to season 1 and now fast forward, they're able to come up with this, kind of incorporate that into the story. But, it's been a great arc. I love this one, like you said, yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites for sure. Probably my absolute favorite, to be honest with you, but, yeah, I mean, it's the Legion. I think what I liked about the episode is seeing, uh, Zod and the Legion telling their side of the story,
Yeah,
and it was just kinda going back and forth, and, with Zod, it was like, "Oh, the Legion," and everyone was just evil and bad, whereas with the Legion side, they're like, "And we have to stop Zod, and we have to prevent all the," and, um, so it's pretty cool. It was really cool to see that back and forth, and yeah, with Impulse there, and Impulse is just like, he's gonna help them out, like, at this point, like, you just know he's gonna help them, and, of course, he does end up building the time machine or whatever, and, using the bioship, right? Like, he was able to hook it up to her. I thought that was pretty
he
cool.
he built the cosmic treadmill,
There you go, cosmic treadmill, yeah,
and it's hooked up to the
there
bioship.
you go.
How nuts is that? That's
Like,
freaking amazing.
yes, I'm like, "Dude," like, they're just bringing out, because that's not something we've seen, I don't think.
Everything.
Yeah, they're
No,
bringing
not
out
at all.
everything. Um, but overall, I mean, great episode, especially the whole Green Lantern, well, with, yeah, Metron and, uh, I don't know, man, like, just seeing the rings, seeing him being able to wield both rings, and seeing how he was, how do I say it? Like, the way it played out, he was like, "You made me, lose all hope, or I didn't wanna be this angry person anymore, so you tricked me into, um, you know, taking the blue
Being
ring."
angry. Yeah.
Yeah, and now you're making me lose all hope, and now I'm getting angry and anger, and then boom. But the rings are like, "Nah, bro, you own both of us. You're gonna wield both of us." Um, that was pretty trippy. Besides the whole Batman story, yeah, that was pretty trippy. Like, I don't think I've ever seen it like that, where a legit Green Lantern can hold it. Not written so that Batman, who's absolutely perfect in every story and all of that crap, can do whatever he wants. a human being. Um, yeah, that story made me a little upset. But I don't know. Like it's just really cool. I just love everything they're doing with this show.
Man, oh man. The you mentioned the back and forth when Lord Zod and the Legion are sort of talking about the past, and it's almost like it's one story being narrated by one person. The only other time I remember that happening was this season. Um, I think it was Z- Zatara talking as well as Vandal Savage, and it
Yeah.
was in that arc, and they're sort of talking. I'm not sure if I'm remembering this
No,
correctly.
wasn't it the Stranger and Vandal?
The Stranger and Vandal, you're
Yeah.
right. It was a
Hmm.
Stranger and Vandal, and they're both talking about the past a little bit, and they're talking to two different people. But the way that it's edited, it sounds like it's one person
Right.
telling one story, and they're sort of taking turns. Beautifully written.
Yeah.
Yeah, another one of those
I
moments.
didn't
Seeing this
expect
right
something like
now.
that to come up again, and so I think if they did this in like every season moving forward, I would be fine with that. Like because they just do it so well.
This is probably my favorite season. Like,
Yeah.
3 was definitely like a big change that we
Hmm.
weren't used to. This season, the format was the biggest change we've had thus far, and yet, like, I liked it better. And now that we're 5 arcs in, and we're now understanding what are the unique ways of storytelling that they can incorporate into this separate arc format. Like, you see the potential,
Hmm.
you see how great the story can be, and so it just makes complete sense now why they did it that way. We weren't sure if these arcs were going to ever, you know, either influence or either tie into one another. It kind of felt
Yeah.
like early on that they were going to be completely separate stories, but now look where we're at. Now we're talking about Arc 5, and it's completely the origins of Arc 1. And now what happens? Lord Zod wants to get his parents out of the Phantom Zone. He has no idea Connor and Phantom Girl, who's still unconscious, I think,
Hmm.
uh, are in the Phantom Zone with them. Zod has no idea that this Connor Kent is the reason why he's in the Phantom Zone. He unless he could have that. No, he could.
I,
He could have the history of Earth, the history, the beginning origins of Legion in the back of his head. General Zod could actually know who this is
right.
and what his life did, but also he probably wouldn't expect to see him here. Hmm.
Because yeah, I mean, because Lord Zod, it's basically from the future.
He is.
So I would imagine he's known. I would imagine he knows who Connor Kent is. He knows, and maybe he's just trying to help him, but to help himself and I forget his wife's name, but he and his wife to get out of the Phantom Zone. You know,
Yeah.
like at one point before they escape, like he'll kind of reveal, I've been playing you this whole time. Yeah, because I mean, you're right. He would basically have to know who Connor is and all that. Um, hmm. See that, but that's we say this every episode. This is what I love about the show. You can think of all these theories and how the story's going to go, and then Young Justice is like, "No, we're totally different. You're not even on the right track."
Real quick before we move on, just got a comment, a greeting from the one and only Moon Knight. Moon
Oh,
Knight,
well, there.
hello. Glad to see you're
Interesting.
alive and well. We're doing wonderful this evening.
Yeah.
We just watched another episode. Fantastic.
Hmm.
You're chatting with us, so I assume Khonshu's been released from the statue. Wonderful. How are you? Just talking a little Young Justice now.
Yeah,
Show's taking a weird turn.
it has.
It's all good. So, um, yeah, like I was saying, you were saying, General Zod, who was trapped by the Legion, who was probably well aware of the Legion. Hold on one second. Moon Knight says hello and lose the at sign on my name because it considered as rudeness to the gods and me. Ah,
Oh, so sorry.
it's all good. It's all good. It's okay. It's all good. Oh, the at.
The at symbol,
that's
yeah.
that's just how the system replies to comments. My apologies for the rudeness. Technology. Am I right? Uh, huh. Back to Phantoms. General Zod. He's got to know the origins of the Legion. He's got to know that Superboy influenced the origins of the Legion. He now sees Connor, who still has. No, he doesn't have the symbol on his chest, right? He's not wearing a
No,
shirt.
it's just like a plain white shirt and I think white pants too.
Maybe he can't recognize him.
Maybe.
Maybe it's too hard to recognize a person in the Phantom Zone. Hmm. I believe it.
Interesting. Yep.
Yeah. Moon Knight says. Never thought I'd say that sentence on a stream. Last person to use an at on his name. They got killed easily. I guess Khonshu didn't appreciate that. Took them out. Had Mark Spector take them out. True story. Absolutely believe it. Yeah.
Well, like you said, it's disrespect, so we
Apologies to the
apologize. Yep.
gods. Yeah. You're going to have to kill Restream, though. You're not going to have to kill us because, it's a technological thing. Can't change it.
There you
So your problem is with the developers of Restream. I apologize, Restream.
go.
Apologies, but have to make sure that Moon Knight know Moon Knight knows where to go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you think I still see two options here with the Phantom Zone and Connor? We know that a Chaos Lord or sorry, what? A
A
Chaos
oh, now I can't think of what they're called.
crap. Oh, a
Okay.
Chaos Lord or a Lord of Order.
Right. Lord
We
of
know that
Chaos, Lord of Order.
yeah, Lord of Chaos or Lord of Order. We know that either one of them can access the Phantom Zone. We've seen it. It's already historically proven. It's already happened before. Um, so do you think that Zatanna or whoever's playing Fate at the moment, do you think that either one of them is going to get to Connor first, or that Lore is going to release his parents first, and Connor is going to somehow come into contact with him?
I think I think Zod is going to Zod and his wife are going to get out. I think Zatanna, well, Fate is going to somehow release Connor and Phantom Girl because she was there at one point. Like she kind of popped in real quick. What was it, episode 18 or 17? I don't remember.
Yeah.
But she did kind of pop in real quick and then disappeared.
Who?
Um, huh?
Zatanna?
Fate? Yeah, Doctor Fate, Zatanna.
I don't remember if she's sort of I don't know if she just sensed him, didn't know where he was. I don't know if she popped in per se. It just felt like she could tell his spirit was somewhere, but not
Right.
exactly. I don't remember her actually going there per se.
I'm gonna have to look for it because I thought I saw her showing up, and it was like brief. Like she showed up. I thought I remember Connor like looking out or something, or maybe he didn't see her. But
He
I'm
didn't
gonna have
see
to.
her.
Okay, but she
I
was
don't
there,
think he
right?
did.
Like she was there,
She was. I think she could sense his presence. I don't
and just
think she couldn't tell where he was exactly. I just think
yeah.
that she could sense that he was somewhere, that his
Okay,
spirit was in
not
agony
at
or he
yeah.
was in distress. Moon Knight asked how we were. Moon Knight, we are wonderful.
Hmm.
And Moon Knight, how are you? How's it going with Harrow? All that figured out? Let us know in the chat. Hmm, cool. Ah, yeah. So, what do you think of my theories? Is it gonna be Fate rescuing Connor, or do you think Lore is gonna be able to pull his parents out, and Connor's gonna sort of be pulled out with them? Because it feels like Zod's gonna keep him around now.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I mean, I could see him. I could see them all getting out, and maybe they would keep Connor entrapped somehow to where he never inspired the Legion. I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh, Matt. Matt's still in the chat. He says he's 100% confused. LOL. Um, Matt, if you switch over to our YouTube channel, our YouTube stream, we are visited by the one and only Moon Knight. And if you're confused, so are we.
It
Just
is
saying.
not trippy at all.
Yeah. No. It's good. Um, yeah. Moon, Mr. Knight. Let us know how you're doing. Yeah. Matt says, I see. Yeah. We're not crazy. Just
Yeah, we're
making
not.
sure you know.
We're not just randomly
We're
talking.
not just randomly talking to made up person. Clearly. Clearly. Yeah.
Oh man.
I hope
Yeah,
Mr.
I
Knight's doing
don't.
well.
I don't know how. I don't know how it's gonna happen. Do you know how many episodes we have left in this season?
We still have 20. We have 26 total. So this was
Oh, okay.
19. We still have 7 more.
Wow.
My guess is 2 more, right, of this arc. That puts us at 21. And then either Nightwing's arc, arc 6, either that will be the full 5 final episodes, or his arc could be a combination of like his own and then maybe an episode by itself, or 2 episodes will involve sort of a finale, collective of, many members, because
Right.
it is Young Justice. We have to see these guys together at some point. Beast Boy's got to get out of his funk eventually. He's been depressing us all season.
Way too long.
Yeah, and something's got to give. So either I think Nightwing's arc is going to be 5 episodes, or 3 to 4 episodes will be dedicated to him. The final 26 episode will be dedicated to maybe a collection of the characters, a final battle. Maybe we'll finally see a head to head
Yeah,
with Darkseid. How crazy would that be?
it has
Or
to
Randall
happen. Yeah.
Savage. All right. Yeah. Whew. Crazy, crazy night. I'm just like thrown for a loop right now. It's crazy.
Me too.
Um, what I'll say next, and I know you said you needed to grab your charger and a
Hmm.
text. If you want to do that now, you go ahead and do that. Cool. He's gonna be right back. He's got to go get his charger. Yeah, having a good time. Moon Knight. He either is sticking around or he probably took a break, and it's all good. Who's on our YouTube chat right now? Final thoughts about Young Justice and where we're going. Fantastic season. Loving Arc 5 so far. It's put just as much or even more lore into this series as all the arcs before it, even though the Zatanna arc, like, they threw in so much lore with the origins of Savage and his son and Atlantis and everything else. That was fantastic as well. I've been saying it every week that we talk about it. I expected Nightwing's arc to be last, and that makes me nervous. If you're watching Young Justice, you either feel the same way I do or you don't. But I am very nervous. I kind of felt like Nightwing would be last, but the fact that we now know he's going to be last worries me. Why does it worry me? You shouldn't be worried, right? No, it worries me. It worries me that um, we've seen so much loss and so much sacrifice in this one season so far, and now we have Nightwing, one of the oldest characters of this entire Young Justice franchise, who's going to be the final arc. And if you ask me, you can never gain something in a well written show or movie without sacrificing something else. It could be a thing, it could be a person. And so we're trying to get back Connor. And for years, we've been waiting to get back um, Kid Flash, Wally. And the fans are still waiting for it. One of these years, it's going to happen, right? And I just don't think we get back any of these heroes without losing someone. And I don't want Nightwing. I don't want Dick Grayson to go anywhere. But it is the characteristic of a great show to see a hero like Grayson sacrifice himself for the greater good. And so I'm very worried that his arc is the last arc because I could easily see a scenario where you're trying to get back Connor or you're trying to get back Wally, and Grayson would, in a heartbeat, lay down his life for another. If you remember Calder's arc, we ended Calder's arc with him feeling the complete loss of all his previous team members and the responsibility of the loss of all of his team members by the end of his arc, Arc 4. Nightwing feels the same. Grayson feels the same. He feels that responsibility. He feels that heaviness on his shoulders. That doesn't go away. And it's less of what Beast Boy's going through. He's dealing with the depression and despair in his own way. But Nightwing and Calder, they were the OGs, baby. They were the top dogs. They were the leaders. They were the ones responsible for everybody else. So if it comes down to it, if we get through Nightwing's arc and there's a moment where you got to lose something to get something, Nightwing is going to be that guy to step up. And I don't want to see him go. Nightwing's been my favorite character since the very beginning. And I wouldn't want to see him go anywhere. Hey, hey, look who it is. It's Jericho. He's back. He's
That
back in the
six
chat.
minutes. You're
Welcome back,
talking
sir.
and it just dies. Thank you.
Welcome
Because
back. Welcome back.
I don't have the charger. It's all good.
It's all good. It's just me hanging out with Moon Knight, obviously. Yeah. So, listen, final thoughts on Young Justice and where we go from here. Where we go, what do you think's going to happen? Shoot it. Go for it.
Yeah, I really don't. I mean, I like your idea of there being finally a battle with Darkseid. You know, that would be pretty cool to see that confrontation happen. But I don't know, man. With bringing Zod into the picture and uh, thing going on, I mean, there has to be more to it, especially now that Impulse is going to be involved with the Cosmic Treadmill. You know, I think they're gonna. I don't know if they even know that Connor. No, they don't. Right? They don't know that Connor is alive, or at least in the Phantom Zone. So
Your your audio drops every like 20 seconds. I don't know if your earbud device is going in and out, something like that. Hmm. Yeah. I'm looking for right now is I'm looking for the title of episode 20. We know the first letters in all of the episodes have been writing a message. You back? Yeah, keep trying. Lost your audio there. We know that the first letters of the episodes are writing out a message. And let's see. The last episode was an E, and I think if we write it all out, it's almost certain to spell out the message invitation to kneel before Zod. I'm pretty sure that's where we're landing. I kind of thought of some other things it might be, but no, no, no. I think that's what it's going to happen. Maybe we just end this entire season on a cliffhanger. Maybe we don't ever see Darkseid, Savage go up against a team. Maybe we just get a scenario where like Zod prevails and he looks at Connor and says, "Hey man, kneel." Maybe he just says the whole thing. Invitation to kneel before Zod, and that's where we end. Cliffhanger. Boom. Connor kneels. Hey. Matthew says, gotta submit a help desk ticket about this WFH setup, Jericho. Still don't hear your audio. See if you can mess with that a little bit. Let me know how to get your audio back. There it
Did it
goes. What was that?
sound better?
Yeah, you're in.
Now I hear an echo on my end.
Oh, there you go. Work from home. All right, I can hear you again. All good. Let's see. Moon Knight, Mr. Moon Knight, can you hear Jericho? Let us know. See if Moon Knight's still on YouTube here. I wonder how far that would have gone. I think he's gone. I wonder how far he would have gone with that. Lost you again. Do the thing you did before. All right, cool. Um, that was our discussion on Young Justice, episode 19 of season 4. Amazing, amazing how much lore and how much story we're getting into this series. And this is gonna be Jericho's favorite part now, I'm sure. Episode 5 of Halo. Maybe this is where try and fix your try and fix your audio and put me on mute, and I'll try and run through this in like a few minutes. Yeah, thanks. There you go. This is the Halo discussion, episode 5. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to spoil this a little bit. If you have seen it, let me know what your favorite part was. Drop it in the comments. I want to hear from you guys. We had Moon Knight in the chat earlier on YouTube because, he's got a YouTube account. Why wouldn't he? Hey. All right. Going to be talking Halo. Moon Knight, if you saw Halo, let us know what you thought about episode 5, Mr. Moon Knight. I'm going to get to that in a second, Matt. Here we go. Here's your summary of episode 5. A young John 117 saves a boy. This is the past, by the way. We open on a young John 117 saving a boy from falling what seems to be the safest playground equipment around. I mean, what in the hell was this? Seriously, even at a military school, like, you just had this apparatus that's like 30 feet in the air. Easily anybody could fall off. Anyways, let's move on. We also see that General Keyes was with Halsey in the past when she was meeting John 117 in his parents' home. Master Chief is suspicious of Halsey and confides in Keyes, which he may regret later, but we'll get to that in a second. We fast forwarded now. We're back in the present day here. The Keystone releases a signal the Covenant can use to locate it. Frustrated with the lack of answers about his past, Master Chief touches a keystone and he sees a vision where Halsey is kidnapping him from his home. When he snaps out of it, he's confronted by Halsey, who has Cortana paralyze him. We always knew that was sort of the thing that could happen. Cortana could just take over any moment's notice. The Covenant arrives to the planet, laying waste to the UNSC forces. Chief is unable to extract the artifact, and it ends up in the hands of the Covenant, who also lose their Blessed One after Master Chief takes out one of their ships. Pretty epic episode, if you ask me. Matthew says his favorite moment was, I'm gonna try to do my Master Chief voice here. I know the this is gonna be terrible. I know how to play this game, Cortana. That was my Master Chief impression right there. Yeah, epic episode. I left out some stuff, as you might have figured out. I'll get to that in a second. But epic episode. Action sequences, fantastic. At the level we expect a Halo series to be. Loved it. The special effects, awesome. That's where all the money went for the series. In the so far two major action sequences we've gotten so far on the show. Um, Loved everything about it. Let's see here. The past. What happened to John's parents? Are we gonna find out more about that? Because Halsey's just like kidnapping John from his bed, but then we don't see what happens to his parents afterwards. Do they have something to do with it? Does Halsey have something to do with it? And Keys, by the way. That's what's going to be crazy, right? If we find out Halsey had the parents removed, taken out, that would be insane. All right, I'm going to bring Jericho back here. 1 second. Hey, I hear you.
Hey, you hear me?
I do. I really do.
Sounds better. All I did was switch my AirPods, so I don't know. Maybe the right one's not good anymore.
That could be it.
Yeah,
I'm just kind of going through some of the Halo stuff. So if you want to mute
take
me
a
or
nap.
something, not take a nap. I'm almost done.
Oh,
Give me a few minutes here. I'm almost done.
go for it.
Yeah. So let's see. Finishing up here. Is there going to be more revelations with regards to John's parents? I think so, because they've been such a plot point for John. They've been referenced so much by John, and he's even asked Cortana, right? What happened when I was a child? What happened to my past? What happened to my parents? Tell me about everything. No records. Um, the Blessed One. What's going to come out of that? The Covenant apparently have nothing they can do with the Keystone without the Blessed One. Pretty much, them, it's just a high powered artifact that they can't manipulate or utilize any sort of way. They need the Blessed One, or they need John. They need one of these sort of special individuals in order to do anything with it. So yeah. But I also said I left some stuff out. The whole Quan deal, come on. I The only thing that I can think of with regards to why we have it has nothing to do with the character Quan, but just the entire rebellion sort of storyline. The only thing I can think of why this is incorporated is because we needed more time to fill up that didn't deal with Master Chief directly. I don't care. I I don't see a point. Not I don't see a. I kind of don't. I don't see a point. I don't see a point to this rebellion. How does that even end? Um, I guess Quan could maybe take what's his face out. The Visser, the guy that took over for her father, but even so, like her rebellion against the UNSC is no longer a fight that she needs to have. We now understand that the covenant was real, the threat was real, the propaganda that the rebellion called it was all factual. So the rebellion has no argument here. There's no validity to their stance on anything. So the whole Quan deal, if she takes out Visser, it won't even be for revenge because Visser didn't kill her father. He kind of um he wasn't the one that took out Quan's father. So yeah, no idea. No idea where that's going to go. It's a nothing burger, Matthew says. Absolutely. But we could just you could spend more time on Chief, you could spend more time on General Keys, Manda Keys, Halsey, anything else. Spend more time on the Covenant. Go back and spend more time on Young John 117. Why we included this rebellion that leads to nothing, I have no idea. If it leads to something, great. But do they even have a rebellion anymore? We heard that most of the rebellion was wiped out already. So what's going to be the point? Cooper's in the chat on YouTube. Hello, Coop. What time does Young Justice come out? Very good question. Episodes drop. I'm going to say 2 a.m. Sorry, I'm talking my time. I'm going to say midnight Pacific time. I could be wrong about that, but I believe it's midnight Pacific time. If you're on the East Coast, 3 a.m. If you're in Central, where I am, 2 a.m. That's your time zone lesson for the night. Yeah. I wish they would change that. Drop episodes at midnight on the East Coast. That way I can watch them at 11 my time. I'm in Central. Yeah. So Halo. Great action sequence at the end of this. Love the special effects. Love everything Chief did. That's all fantastic. When are we when are we gonna see the damn thing? When are we gonna get to Halo? I thought we would have been there by now. Um, Now that they have the Blessed One, Maki, in custody, she's going to want to get the first artifact, right? That's the only thing they need. They have the keystone. The writing of this series should be that her motivation now will be to get the first artifact, which is on Reach. So, next episode, if I'm writing this show, Mackie's going to want to get her hands on the first artifact and then get back to the Covenant. I hope that's what happens. Um, does she succeed in extracting the first artifact? And in the process, in order to make sure she isn't followed or captured again, is she going to set off a chain of events that will destroy Reach? Was kind of thinking that we would see the fall of Reach at some point in the show, early on, right? Just like the game, but that didn't happen. So maybe Mackie, who's now going to be maybe heading towards Reach with everybody, um, or are they stranded? No, they're not stranded. They're not stranded. Okay, that's what I'm. If I'm if I'm making sense of what's happening next on this series, I think that's where we go from here. Let me reply to Coop here. All right, cool. Hey man, you're back.
I am back, and I've been just laughing this whole time because you're you're having a conversation by yourself. It's just so
I
funny.
am.
I
Well,
like part of your
thought Moon Knight would join in, but he didn't.
he did, and maybe he's out getting vengeance.
I'm not.
He'll be back.
He's trying to save some people. He had something to do.
Yeah,
Yes. That's exactly why Moon Knight is no longer in our chat.
Hopefully, he'll join on our next stream, and we can discuss, the season finale.
You know what? Uh, Joe and JC are gonna be really bummed out they weren't on this stream tonight.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "I don't believe you. That didn't happen."
Oh my gosh! If you're just joining us, we had a brief conversation from Moon Knight, who was on our YouTube chat. Yeah, I said Moon Knight. If you're asking what, so are we. That's exactly what we're saying in our heads. So yeah,
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows? Did we get threatened? We weren't threatened. We were just
No,
warned. We were just
just
warned.
warned.
We were warned about how to talk in
Yeah,
a
how to
chat,
address them. Yeah.
how to address Moon Knight in a chat, because there's apparently a proper way to do that. Who knew? They didn't talk
Hmm.
about these things on the show. They should have told us. We needed
Yep.
this info.
We
Spoiler
didn't have
alert.
that debrief, so
Spoiler alert, Moon Knight's back, which means Khonshu's out of the statue. That's how the show
yep.
ends. Sorry, guys. But you saw him in the chat. He shouldn't have been here. Marvel's going to be pissed.
Oh
Kevin
yeah.
Feige, he's got the sniper rifle out. He's
Like,
got to
damn it,
take out Moon
Khonshu.
Knight. Damn it, Khonshu. What the hell? Cool. Yeah, that was my thoughts on Halo. Let me know what you thought in the chat, or you can always send us a message afterwards by clicking the send message button on Facebook, or you can email us on the contact page of our website at www.countdowncitygeekcast.com. Don't go anywhere yet. We have some announcements to make, and they're pretty big. They're pretty fantastical, if you ask me. Um, First of which, eh, I think the only one tonight. Well, the first of which is our continuing promotion of the superhero car show and Comic Con, which will be held at the Freeman Coliseum August 4th through 7th. Has They're going to have wonderful guests such as Ernie Hudson, who's going to be making another appearance in town. The amazing Ernie Hudson, the very talented Diane Guerrero, both from Titans as well as Encanto. Um, yeah,
Not
and then
Titans,
just
Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol. My bad,
Yeah.
Doom Patrol.
I was like,
We
where did she
actually
play in
have.
Titans?
Ooh, you know what? Didn't she make? Did she make an appearance? There was
Not,
that one.
no, she
There was
wasn't
that
part of
one
that.
crossover. Ah, she wasn't there.
Yeah,
Okay, fine,
she wasn't
fine,
there.
fine, fine, fine.
My bad.
There was. We are gonna have the actor who played Hawk and the actor who
Oh,
played
Alan Richman.
Jason Todd, Alan Ritchson, and
I don't remember the guy's name for Jason Todd.
I'll look it up in a second.
Oops.
But they're going to be there as well. So two actors from DC's Titans who are going to be at the convention, and this car show is going to contain like 30 some odd cars from your favorite movies and TV series, including the wonderful Ghostbusters vehicle, the Ecto One, which I've seen up close. I haven't driven in it yet. I think I'm gonna hide in it during the last day and wait for them to
Just,
drive off so I can just
just
like
ask your buddy. Just ask Ernie. Say, hey man, I think we're at this point where can we just take it for a spin,
let's take it for a
real
spin.
quick?
I
Nobody will know.
mean, and I haven't
Nobody
already
will
met.
know.
I
Yeah,
haven't mentioned yet. They announced a performance, an hour and a half performance by the one and only Blues Brothers group,
that's
featuring Dan
amazing.
Aykroyd and Jim Belushi. I mean, you're going right.
At least for that, I would love to go. Like, if I don't
Who
even get to do
wouldn't?
the con, like,
Who
holy crap.
wouldn't? Who
Yeah,
wouldn't? Can you imagine? Oh man, it's gonna be such a great event, and it's going to be in the Freeman Coliseum, which is a pretty good size venue for a
yeah.
concert.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, it fits probably 1,500 seats, maybe, but they're not going to have the whole thing open. Maybe close to 1,000.
Maybe more because, well, we went to see Juanes a few years ago, and it had the whole stadium pretty open, and I mean, there was a decent amount of people. I think it was way more than 1,500. I could be wrong. At least
Yeah,
felt like a lot of people.
I don't know if they'll have as many seats, maybe on the floor area as they would for
Yeah.
like a normal concert. It just makes sense that they wouldn't go all out for it. I guess if ticket sales, you know, go crazy, then sure, why not?
Hmm.
But I probably expect a little less than a normal show. I think I heard around 800 or 1,000 tickets will be sold
Oh, okay.
for
Wow.
this performance. But still, Dan freaking Aykroyd,
Hmm.
uh, Jim Belushi, and somebody told me online, they're like, "What does Jim have to do with anything? He's not even one of the originals." And it's like, well, duh, we know he's not
Oh man.
John. But for those who don't know, Jim's been performing with the Blues Brothers band since the mid '90s,
Yeah.
maybe even earlier. So it's not like he's nothing. He's
Yeah.
just as much of a part of it now
He
than
may not be
as
an
Dan
OG, but
is.
he's definitely been around part of the Blues Brothers for many years, several decades.
Almost,
So
yeah, almost 3 decades now. There's probably an
yeah,
earlier performance that I'm not even aware of, but I know for sure he's been playing with him since the mid '90s.
yeah.
So there might even be an earlier performance in that. But anyways,
That may have
I
been
digress.
a young buck that was talking to you because yeah, man.
What is it with all these young bucks? I tell you. Um, cool. Lastly, very last thing to announce is that we are going to be a part of Free Comic Book Day. I want to share something. Hang on. Cool. We're going to be a part of Free Comic Book Day. This is one of our favorite events of the year. Free Comic Book Day is going to be taking place on May 7th, which is next Saturday. And we are going to be at Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy, the Alamo Ranch location. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Dragon's Lair is our favorite neighborhood comic book shop, and it's located in the Alamo Ranch shopping center, and that is off 1604 and Highway 151, where they meet. The actual address is 5611 West Loop 1604 78251, I believe. Oop, 253 78253. So, Free Comic Book Day is exactly what it sounds like. You get to pick up
Hmm.
a load of free comic books at the store, and it's a good sized store. They just they converted the shop next to them into a separate gaming area, so they're going to have that open for the crowds that are going to be in attendance. And we're going to be set up in store. We're going to have the crowds behind us. We may have some giveaways. If you're a fan of Marvel, if you're a fan of Doctor Strange, there's going to be some giveaways related to the movie. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I did, so I apologize if I wasn't supposed to. But there will be some giveaways um, at the event. The store opens at 10 a.m. You're allowed to line up. If you want to line up, go for it. If not, don't worry about it. There's going to be plenty of comics to give out. Usually it's stacks of every single
Hmm.
book that they have for the event. And after you pick up your free comics, go to the store, walk around, and throw some money down. You're going to find games, tabletop games, board games, books, graphic novels. You're going to find prints, posters, the whole nine. It's an incredible store. We absolutely love it. We've done how many live streams have we
A
done
lot of shows,
from
yeah,
the
a lot of
store?
live streams from there. It's a great store. I love that place. It really is great. I mean, it's not like um, it's not like some comic book stores where they have like every piece of comic book, item to sell. Like they're strictly, or not strictly, but they lean more towards comic books and, like you said, tabletop games, board games, stuff like that. And I like that because there's sort of a niche group of people that go there, whereas other comic book stores, it's like anybody can go and they're like, oh, I'm gonna go get a T-shirt, I'm gonna go buy a figure, an overpriced, used figure. But I really like Dragon's Lair because they're more, to me, more of a true comic book store,
Yeah.
not just a cash grab like some others.
Hmm.
I
Interesting.
said it.
Something absolutely. Um, yeah, they're very good friends of ours. We've done a dozen events there. We most recently did a toy drive with the Ghostbusters San Antonio chapter, and that toy drive was actually a nationwide toy drive with dozens and dozens of Ghostbuster chapters across the country, and I think there was even some international chapters also taking place. So it was a major international effort. It was promoted by the official Ghostbusters social media handle, and all of the chapters across the country were taking part in it. We were part of a major live stream with the New York chapter, and they were bringing on chapters every 20 minutes, and we were talking about our event, what we do, other events that we've done in the past, and then what we're looking at doing in the future. So that live stream was a massive live stream seen by thousands, and it was a wonderful time. It was fantastic, and that was all at Dragon's Lair, who was kind enough to let us do our toy drive there, and it was a
Awesome.
massive success because once people got word, once they just saw us, collecting toys at Dragon's Lair, they were going next door, buying some gifts, and then coming and dropping it off, and it was just a wonderful thing to see. People wanted to get involved. People wanted to
Hmm.
help out, and it was our Christmas toy drive, and so it was a season of giving, and it was an incredible moment. So it was an incredible time. So
Nice.
yeah, Dragon's Lair, comics and fantasy, Alamo Ranch location. That address one more time in case you missed it. Also, go to our Facebook page at Countdown to the Geekcast. I will put up the information there, and you can meet us uh, at the event. Grab your comic books. It'll be a great time. Yeah, definitely. And we're gonna have some giveaways, all that good stuff. The address, one more time: 5511 West Loop 1604, San Antonio, Texas 78253. If you're looking for Dragon's Lair, it's in the same sort of strip as Dick's Sporting Goods. It's the best I can say, actually. I think if
Uh,
it's yeah,
there's a
keep
Thai
driving around, you'll find it.
restaurant. Yeah, where you see Five Below, it's like down maybe a store or two from Five Below.
It's yeah, it's kind of next to Five Below. So if you see
Yeah.
Five Below, head towards that way. It's in the same strip as Dick's
Hmm.
Sporting Goods. It's not too hard to find. You'll find it, I
Yeah.
promise. It's not a crazy big shopping center. So yeah, definitely. Can't wait. Free comic book day. We obviously haven't had this in the last couple of years for obvious
Yeah.
reasons. So this is one of our favorite events to be at, and we just can't wait. We can't wait to see you guys there. It's going to be a momentous occasion. Yeah, and
Very cool.
meet us there. That's our episode. Again, let us know what you thought about Young Justice episode 19, Moon Knight episode 4 and 5, or Halo episode 5. We want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments about these episodes. What's your theories going forward? We want to hear from you guys. Or you can always send us a message on Facebook by clicking that send message button. Or you can email us on the contact page of our website at www.countdowncitygeekcast.com. For the Geekcast, my name is Steady. Joining me on this episode, the one, the only Moon Knight. I mean Jericho. Jericho.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hold on, let me. There we go. I'm back. Yeah. I don't know if you saw me. That was stupid.
It was
Oh
awesome. It
man.
was awesome.
Hey, this was fun. We haven't had an episode where just the two of us in a while.
Just the
We miss
two of
Joe and
us
JC, of course. They're out doing their thing,
partying.
uh, partying up, having a good old time. But yeah, man, it's always fun doing any episode. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. Moon Knight, hopefully, we'll see you next week. We'll see what happens.
Have a good night, Mr. Moon Knight. Yeah, we were visited by the one and only Moon Knight earlier on
Moon
YouTube in
Knight.
the chat. Appreciate the discussion. It was fun.
It was fun.
And
Yep.
let us know. Let us know what's going on in your neck of the woods on the other
Yeah.
side of the world. Yeah. We'll see you later. Have a great night, folks. Have a good night, Mr. Moon Knight. We'll catch you later. We'll see you next week. Peace.